So squad-wise, you named an unchanged 21. Is that the first time this year that you've been able to do that?
Well, the first time since I've been here, I think, which is good.
Really? Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Does that feel like a bit of a luxury then?
No, it's good. I'm happy for the team, try and build on those combinations. Also, it's a good job by the staff to make sure we can do that as well.
So having done that, the question is, do you change a winning 17?
No, I was happy with the guys that all took the field last week. Um, Still not quite exactly where we want to get to, but like it's early in the season. And like our best football still is a long way away from us where we're at the moment. But that we took a couple of positive steps in the right direction, and we're looking for a couple more this week.
Given the intensity of last week's game, how challenging is it to get the guys back up sort of physically and mentally to where they need to be for this week?
Yeah, well, that is a challenge, but come the end of the year, if you want to play in the last game of the year, well, there's going to be a lot of intensity in the games leading up to it, so it's good practice for us, and um, we're a bit off the end of the season where we want to get to. But like I said, it's good practice for us. And if you want to be in those big games at the end of the year, you've got to be able to do it throughout the season. So that's the challenge for us. But I'm sure it's a challenge for Warrington as well, who come off the back of a high intensity game against Saints last week.
Do you feel like it could be a similar intense encounter at Warrington on
I
Friday
hope
then?
so. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. That's what both teams would want, a challenge, and yes, I hope it is.
And what is it that you want to see more of from your team?
Um, the consistency, or not the reliability around, just keep sticking to the things that work for us. So it's not a lot of, they know what we want to do, and it's not what we're doing at the moment. It's how we do it sometimes. Like we do a lot of good things and then we go away from it, and we try and do what we set out to do a different way, or like the way we started the first half and was really good in the first 10 minutes and 10 sets, but compared to then we went out the second half and we tried to do it a different way. With how we did it was totally different. I think we had three errors in that first 10 minutes. So it's just that, sticking to what works for us and what we want to do, and being able to do it for longer periods, but that consistency of doing it all the time.
What's your take on Warrington at the moment then?
Their last performance was really good. You could see, they've had the inclusion of Sneed coming into their team, and he's made a difference for them. Just gives them more kick threat, more options in attack. They're powerful forward pack. So the challenge for our forwards is, we had to deal with Saints, and then we had to deal with Wigan, and now we've got to deal with Warrington. So that's a really good challenge physically for our middle.
Can you just give us a couple of words on a couple of your milestone men on Friday? Should they play? Ash Handley will make his 200th Super League, and Harry Newman his 100th. Just tell us how pivotal they are to your team right now.
Yeah, I think both those guys are playing really good football for us, and look, we'd like to get them some more quality ball, and that'll come as we still, we get on top of exactly the style that we're trying to play. But there's a lot of work that they do in games that isn't credited or appreciated, but it is by the team. They're doing a lot of work, a lot of effort areas, which is what we've challenged them on. There's been some changes to their game around a lot of that, like their involvements and their effort areas off the ball, which make a big difference to the rest of the team. We've been starting in really good field position because a lot of the work that those two have been doing. They're also at the moment doing a lot of work on their providing kick options for the team. So on the last tackle, they give us more options, and they've struck up a reasonable combination, and they've come up with some good big plays at big times for us. On the back of their kick, but then it just gives us more flexibility and more options on the last tackle, mates, because it's a bit more dangerous whether we're kicking or we're going to run. So, look, as from a club's perspective, well, the club's proud that, we've got one guy reaching 200 games and another reaching 100, and, they've played all their football here, which is great.
And just on the subject of numbers, I don't know if you're aware or not, but your fixture will be the 5,000th Super League game since its inception. And obviously, you've only been involved in a small fraction of
Yeah.
that. But can you remember you're obviously busy on the other side of the world, but can you remember our competition starting as it did?
Oh, no, I've got no idea. But look, I'm not trying to be naive or lack of appreciation for it, but I don't know. But I'm grateful again. I was fortunate to be part of a big spectacle last week in terms of Ryan Hall's 500, and the fact that I'm involved in, it's a good opportunity for us as a team and the club to make sure, in Warrington as well, that both teams put on a good spectacle for a big occasion.
It is a great milestone. Just before I pass you on, can I just ask you about the Ashes announcement this week? Obviously, Headingley's going to host the third test, and it's back after over 2 decades. Our British coaches have been sort of waxing lyrical. What does it mean from an Australian point of view? Do you think it'll be as well received down under as it has been here?
Yeah, it'll be big for the game, the international game, and it's obviously big for England, but it's also big for Leeds having it played at a game at Headingley as well. So, yeah, look, it, and I think you can see that the game across the world has got closer, and the competition has got closer, and I'm sure the England guys are preparing themselves to try and win on home soil.
And if the game was today, do you feel you'd have a fair few representatives in that England squad?
From our squad,
Yeah, from your squad.
yeah, well, why not? We've still got a little bit more to do, and look, it's fortunate that it's not till the end of the year. But I would like to hope by the end of the year, we've got a couple more knocking on the door.
Just a few quick ones. You've gone with three middles in the absence of Cameron Smith. Do you feel that's working well and allowing you to get on top in the middle?
Yeah, I've done it before in the past, like back in Australia, and I like the mentality of how you need to start. So it just sort of changes your mentality a bit at the start of the game and building and working into a game. But Keenan has got the flexibility and he's got good skill level to play a bit of how Cameron played in his role as 13. So it does give us the flexibility there. And then we've got an injection of Tom Holroyd coming on and Sam, with a bit of punch off the bench. So also puts a bit more responsibility on the halves to get their hands on the ball and take a bit more control.
Has it given you a bit of food for thought once Cameron is back in terms of maybe mixing it up a bit more?
Yeah, maybe. I had these conversations with Cameron in the preseason. There might be weeks where I need to start with three bigs and then bring him off the bench to get a bit of football in. But I feel like we've been a bit clunky down at the trial lines, on a few occasions. Without him there, he's probably sometimes you take for granted what you've got until it actually it's taken away from you. And say Cameron's leadership has left a bit of a void at times, but it's allowed other guys to step up. But like his leadership, we've missed it on a few occasions. His control down at the try line, we've missed on a few occasions. But again, it's good opportunities for other guys to step in and take some ownership.
Yeah, just finally, there's some talk down under that New Zealand Warriors have made an offer to Morgan Gannon. What do you know about that, and what's the stance on his contract situation from the club's point of view?
Oh, he's contracted this year. I know that, and I believe he's in the process of working with his management on extending his deal. On what I do know is Morgan loves the club here, and he appreciates what the club's done for him, and all indications are that look, he wants to continue to play here. At some stage, he might have an aspiration and desire to play NRL, but I think that might be further down the track.
Yeah, is that the impression you got from him, that it'll come too soon for him?
That's his choice, and that's his business to let that what he's going to do. But like I think I'm pretty comfortable. I know where he's at.
Yeah, would you expect him to stay then beyond this year?
Oh, my view is, yeah, like I would expect him that to be playing for Leeds next year. But until it's sorted, look, that's yeah, the decision's yet to be made.
You're obviously from the NRL. Do you expect his head to be turned if there has been an offer from New Zealand Warriors?
Oh yeah, look, he'd be excited about that kind of interest, but he's a pretty level-headed kid, and I think he knows that, at the moment his development is, he's still a long way off where he can get to. And yeah, does he have the potential to eventually play in the NRL? He might do, but I think at the moment he's best served to stay here.
I was actually going to ask you about Morgan Gannon. What do you make of his comeback? Obviously, he had a full year out last year, but he's come back and it seems he's hit the ground running, been very strong. Have you been impressed with his response?
Yeah, he's doing lots of good things. Like I've said to you on numerous occasions over the last month, that we've taken it slow with him. We're going to continue to take it slow with him. You know, we started a couple of games. He's had a few games off the bench. You know, we'll keep progressing his minutes out. You know, he played a bit on both sides of the field. He's played at 6, so he gives us that flexibility, and it's all part of, you know, like his development and his growth. You know, come the end of the year, I'm sure he'd like to be locking down a starting spot and being an 80-minute player, but you know, he's still young, and off the back of what's happened to him previous, we think we're tracking okay with our plan, and he's doing a good job, and he knows his worth to the team, and you know what his responsibilities are there.
How long do you think that process will take? You say you're taking it slowly. I mean, we're what, seven games in now?
We've got, you know, we're 20 more to go, haven't we? So we've got plenty of time. And like, I don't have a plan that in round 10 he's going to do this, or, you know, like it's just, we're just seeing how he goes at the moment. We're just taking it nice and steady. I'm also making decisions based on what I think is best for the team. That's actually suiting the team at the moment, with him coming on first or second change, and he's comfortable with that.
Just on Matt Frawley, obviously he had to take 18th man duties last week. You've got Connor playing well in the scrum half role. How's Matt handling it, and how do you see his future this season? Is he likely to force his way back into the team fairly soon?
Look, he's handling it professionally, like I would expect he would. You know, he trained this week and last week against us and lifted the standard of the opposition training against us. So that's the professional man that he is. He's obviously disappointed, and I'd be worried if he wasn't disappointed. But, you know, he hasn't shown that through his attitude or his actions, but you can tell he's disappointed. And his process now is he's just got to train well, and he plays with the reserve grade team tonight, and he's got to play well, and things chop and change in their game. Like, it's taken me this long to get to the same team 2 weeks in a row since I've been here, you know, the first time since I've been here. So injuries happen, form drops off, but what it does is it also provides good, healthy competition, because the other guys in the team know that they've got a very credible player that should be in, you know, should be in the team, wants to be in the team, and he's trying to force his way in, so it keeps the other guys on their toes.
Yeah, it's not a bad situation to be in, is it, when you've got players like that trying to force their way in? Yeah,
it's great, and it's, you know, I'm grateful to our performance guys that they've got all these guys fit and firing, and you know, then it's my job to get them trying to play their best footy and trying to put pressure on each other, and having a healthy squad creates good competition for spots, which should generate better performances, I would hope.
Congratulations on the win on Saturday, which I thought was a terrific match and thoroughly enjoyable to watch, certainly from my point of view anyway. Don't know about yours, but, you know, was that some wins are more important than others, I think, and that win, I would say, was a statement, or you could say it was a statement win, in the sense that Wigan lost by 2 points, but it won't have done them that much damage. But the amount of good it will do you, that win, particularly played in front of almost 16,000 and on TV and so on, I think will be enormous. Was that how you felt about it?
Oh, look, I was excited for and grateful towards the effort from our players. I was excited for the club and our fans. Yeah, and it can be nice building block for us and morale building, that, you know, like, I still didn't think that we were good, but I know that we can be better. And, you know, like the way we started the second half, we invited them back into the competition a little bit. But, you know, like, to Wigan's credit, look, it's very hard for them they don't often lose 2 in a row, and they fought hard and they played well and completed high. It was just a good game of football. You know, sometimes it comes down to the bounce of the ball, and it might have in this occasion, but, you know, I was just proud of the boys and their effort. But the challenging thing for us is, you know, like, can we do that again and again and again? And like, the really good teams manage to do it over and over. So that's the bit that, we're chasing is coming with that. And it doesn't always equate to a win, but, just that same performance and building on our performances. And, I've said it, even against Saints. I know we didn't win the game, but I thought our performance was strong, and we just got a couple of areas wrong. And as soon as we can get more right in our game, and we're going to get a few things wrong as we go. And our response, as long as our responses are good to them, and our responses were pretty good to them against Wigan, and that was probably what got us the result.
Absolutely, and you came from behind to win, which I think is always a great sign that a team can do that. That's in my experience. But playing Warrington, obviously Sneedy came into their side against Saints and laid on that brilliant try for George Williams with a superb short kick to the line, which he's so good at. I mean, I wonder if can you defend against that very easily? Can you plan a defence against that?
Well, look, there's things that you do in your systems to try and nullify that. There's good players in our game, and that's why they're good players, because some things they can come up with a piece of magic that no matter what you do, they can find a way. So, look, we just got to make sure that our awareness, we know what he's capable of. You're going to make sure, like I said, around our awareness, but our communication there. We've got some principles around how we defend kicks and our defensive line. We're sticking to them. And if systematically we're good, well, we'll make it harder for him. And then sometimes, you just get beat by a better play and you've got to wear it. But we're aware of what he brings to the team, and we'll be doing our best to try and nullify it and make sure we're concentrating and sticking to what our systems are to try and, turn him away.
And finally, Brad, just going back to the Ashes series that's just been announced, from what you've seen of the British game so far since you've been coaching here, do you think we've got a decent chance against the Aussies this time? We've not beaten you for so long. Since 1970, I think, was the last time. You probably weren't born then, I should think. But, do you think we've actually got a chance of doing it when they come over this year?
Yeah, well, I think the fact that it's on home soil helps. The conditions might help. And what I've seen, there's a lot of good players over here, and there's some good players in Australia that come over and play for England as well. So yeah, definitely the gap's getting closer, and like I can see that they're putting a lot of effort into with some camps and meetings throughout the season, so they're already planning for those games. It's not like it's just going to be a mini camp at the end of the year. So obviously, England have put a lot of emphasis onto having a strong tournament at the back end of the year, a strong Ashes period.
We were just talking about Mark Sneyd. Do you think he's a guy who ought to be coming into contention?
Oh, mate, I'll leave team selection for the guys that are the best at it, and that's the coaches. So I'll just worry about team selection for the Leeds Rhinos.
Very diplomatic, Brad. Thanks very much indeed, and good luck tomorrow night. Cheers, mate.